Access granted.
Subject: interview with Brian Flynn from SUPER7. Body: on 6/9/2023, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80, was tasked with the mission of interviewing the awesome Brian Flynn from SUPER7 about their brand new G.I. Joe Reaction, Tiger Force and Python Patrol reveals, as well as a number of updates for the Ultimates line. Here's what we could show you from that G14 classified recording.
Access granted.
Hello and welcome to the Full Force Redacted, brought to you by Generals Joe's Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. On the show today, we have SUPER7 Supreme Overlord and Full Force regular Brian Flynn to chat about the brand new wave of G.I. Joe Reaction, Tiger Force and Python Patrol figures, as well as some Ultimates updates. Brian, thank you so much for spending the time to do this with me yet again.
Supreme Overlord, huh? I've become a villain now. Is that it?
Oh, you can be a Supreme Overlord in a good way, can you?
That's not generally how that terminology is used. Like despot is usually not used in a good way.
No, I don't know.
It's not an endearing term.
I would say you're a good Supreme Overlord. So yeah, I think we're going to change that narrative up this time. How are you doing?
All right, so if I'm a good Supreme Overlord, does that mean Lenny's the bad Supreme Overlord?
Terrible.
No, why can't we be partners? We're buddies. Like, we're neighboring countries that hang out together on the weekends. Our borders are open.
Yeah.
People come to us. It's like, it's all right.
As if the borders are open, you're fine. That's totally cool.
Yeah. That's how it works. Me and Lenny hanging out with kicking back in like a folding chair with I'll have a soda. I'm not sure what I'll have. And then we'll just talk about G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I have to do some Photoshop now. You've said that. Brilliant.
Bring the shades down. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. How are you doing anyway? How is life right now for you?
It's good. It's busy. It's good. School ends. It's coming week and it's absolute chaos. So for everybody that doesn't know, behind the scenes, we had to rearrange this to a different time because I had a dentist appointment for a child I didn't know about. So
hang on.
Now we're doing this before lunch instead of later.
Was it the dentist appointment you didn't know about, or the child you didn't know about?
No, well, luckily I knew about my child,
good.
But the dentist appointment. I did not schedule said dentist appointment, but I am taking to said dentist appointment.
Nice. I won't keep you too long then. In that case, we're just going to rinse through all of this as fast as we can. Now, obviously, there's been a very recent reveal from SUPER7 G.I. Joe related. Let's start with the brilliant Tiger Force and Python Patrol reveals because they are.
I'm glad you like them.
They are amazing. Spoiler alert. So we spoke a little bit about these on the last interview because the listings had kind of snuck out there and you had kind of filled us in on a few details at the time. So it was great to see the product images and pre-orders. You had mentioned that there was one more listing missing from the leak, which I guess turned out to be the Tiger Force green shirt. Now, with that addition and the inclusion of Shipwreck and the Trooper on the back of the cards, again, spoiler alert, can we expect some more Tiger Force and Python Patrol beyond that based on a conversation we had not too long ago?
There's one more.
There is one more. Okay, see?
There's one more.
I thought I was crazy. And I was like, I'm sure we spoke about this.
It's not in this drop. It's in a future drop.
Okay, that's
good. There's a special Tiger Force figure.
That is awesome. That's all I wanted to know. Just have to clarify that. Check. That's all I needed to know. Thank you. And now we can pass that along to the 12 listeners. That's a lot. 3.
And they can all go, Who
can that be? Exactly. Well, I mean, to be honest, there are a lot of options, especially with Tiger Force. My goodness. But let's look at Tiger Force actually now. Really like the fact that you kept the vintage kind of color schemes and themes, but still infused like new combinations, especially with Duke, who got a slightly different deco to his original, but it still looks familiar. Was that kind of intentional?
Yeah, I mean, he's in a slightly different outfit too, so
it's like switched, isn't it? It's like tan pants, green shirt has kind of switched the other way in a sense.
Yeah, it's the reality is with most of the figures we did, they weren't done in Python Patrol and Tiger Force originally.
Yeah.
So that's why we went in to do them. Obviously, in recent years, Hasbro had done Bat as Python Patrol, but we're like we gotta keep Bat in the club. Like we're not gonna let him slide.
Yeah.
So um mostly it was really to kind of get out there and do a bunch of stuff that
Yeah.
hasn't been seen. Obviously, shipwreck has been seen, but most people can't afford a shipwreck. So here's your chance to have a shipwreck.
Maruho. Yeah, absolutely. That is a very rare figure. I do actually have one of those, believe it or not. Loose.
I believe it actually completely.
I have a
I,
G.I.
I
Joe
think you have
figure.
Ninja Satan and Ninja Ku. You have everybody.
Well, actually, do I have Ninja Ku? I can't remember if I don't think I have Ninja Ku. That is one that's evaded my
What about
talons.
Ninja Satan?
Satan, I have Satan. I have Maruho. I have R Puro, which is the airtight one. And actually, that brings up a good point. Actually, that airtight, which is all yellow with the black stripes, was that kind of like some of the homage going into Snake Eyes, or was that because of the Black Major Snake Eyes? Am I allowed to say that, or does that have to be beeped?
With Black Major, I have no idea where that guy exists. Meaning, like, clearly he's making bootleg GI Joe product,
Yeah,
and like we all know,
yeah,
but nobody seems to be. Like I have to go through a lot of hoops on my stuff, but I don't necessarily see anybody chasing him, which is
yeah.
surprising. But you sort of have the same thing with Stan Solo
Right,
on the Star Wars,
right.
and that guy made that absolutely brilliant Ubrikian speeder. Like, hey, I don't know how these guys make it all work. Um, I don't know, but at the same time, obviously, yes, he's done a lot of stuff. But we weren't going to sit there and be like, okay, here, we're trying to make this in canon,
Yeah,
if you will,
right,
within the world of GI Joe. And while I know he's making a bunch of that stuff, I was just like, we can't even look at it. Like, let's not even work. Let's just make what we want to
right.
make that fits in how we think it would fit in with the vintage figures. And that is what it is.
Yeah,
If some of it ends up being similar or not similar, that's just the way it falls. But at this point, I try not to look at it because then it starts to creep in and influence what we're thinking
right.
about. And I'm like, it's sort of like if you're trying to think about what to do and you're paying attention to everybody that's making resin cast action figures. It's like somebody's made something of everything at this point,
Totally. Yeah.
So I have to just not look at it and go, how would we handle this and what would we do?
Was there ever a thought to do Snake Eyes kind of like in a reverse kind of deco where it's black, kind of like what he already has, but then with the yellow tiger stripes? Was that? I mean, do you guys go through a lot of different like options and
We
stuff?
go through like giant, like here they are colored up 20 different
Yeah,
ways. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
how do they look together? How does it come together? And then are they too similar to the colors in Python Patrol? Like, is Destro dark? Is Destro not dark? But if you make him, what does it look like when you put him next to Snake Eyes? There's a lot of that, and we tried to just stick with the original palettes.
yeah. No, they're great.
Pretty.
Again, like as soon it's funny actually when they first popped up on my feed. There's like an instant familiarity there, even though there's a lot of new in there. But there's like that kind of feeling of like I kind of do get this, and that's kind of how I feel like they would have been. The one that really stands out for me actually as like just crazy bonkers is Destro, where he's got like the two color combinations on top, and then tell you what, let's just go for a completely different combination downstairs, and it's just all over the. I love it. I love that Destro.
I think as we build trust with that customer, that sounds so corporate. As we build trust with the customer, but I mean, as the GI Joe guy gets more comfortable with us, I think we'll have more latitude to get crazier with it.
Yeah.
Like right now, if I just came out with crazy stuff, they'd just be like, "You clearly don't know GI Joe. This doesn't fit in with the world." Like, whether it's cool or not is sort of arbitrary. So I think, we're trying to honor it without being slavish to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also give you something you don't have.
Totally.
And navigate that meandering, calm river down the middle.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to the rapids. I'm not washing up on shore dead. you know.
Just in the middle. Just stay in the middle all the way.
Well, within reason, because
Yeah.
like I said, I think, not that we haven't talked about it before, but there's a large subset of GI Joe collectors that are just, they're still not happy this isn't O-ring. So, if
Yeah.
I get too crazy with it, like we want sometimes, I think that those people would just, not that those people are buying anyways, but I think there's just a certain point of like, when the line becomes more established, you have more freedom to have more variety. And I
Totally.
think right now we're still, if you're going to go into Python Patrol and Tiger First for the first time,
Mm.
it better feel like Tiger Force and Python Patrol.
Can
You
that be
know?
can that be the tagline? That's
Yeah,
on all the
completely. That'll be the
promo.
title of this video on YouTube.
It better feel like Tiger Force and Python Patrol. That's amazing.
Yeah, where if I had been like, yeah, they're Tiger Force and Python Patrol, but wacky, people would have been just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I think some of the wackier elements that you guys have introduced already are the ones that I think get most of the attention. Like, I really enjoyed the Glow Patrol kind of stuff. That looked really nice, and again was like something quite new coming into GI Joe as well. So like that, to me that was like an awesome kind of like addition. But then I suppose it's giving people those things that they didn't get through like Sunbow and the comic and things like that. And I do feel like you're in actual fact providing quite a good service for those people that feel like they didn't get what they wanted when they were growing up, kind of thing.
Yeah. Within reason, right?
Sure. Totally.
We don't need to live in the O-ring conversation.
That's true. I also got to say, I liked the additions that you gave the bat. So like, because obviously the bat follows quite closely to the classified bat Python Patrol figure. I like the fact you guys added that pattern on the pants, because I felt that was kind of something that it needed a little bit to kind of really bring it into the sub team. Was that something where you looked at and you were like, it needs something else?
I think, when we look at it, it's just, those figures in that pattern, it's like they're top to bottom, they're head to toe. They're not just a t-shirt that you throw on,
They're pajamas, effectively, aren't they? A lot of them.
Underoos.
Yeah. A onesie, perhaps, in some cases.
It's got a little flap on the back, case of late night Cheeto emergency. No, it's if you're gonna, I feel like, yes, they should all be patterned, and it's not a reaction against a figure where we didn't think that somebody else painted it right. I think our version of it is just, if you're wearing the patterns, you're wearing it head to toe.
Right.
Like,
totally. And I kind of like how the Baroness is done as well. Like, it's more subtle. It's like she came into the team and was like, I'm not going to avoid the greens and I'm going to avoid the yellows. I'm just going to go with that nice subtle like grey with the black already on there, and then the red accents, and the red shades are a nice touch on the Baroness as well. Like, she looks fantastic, and it's nice that she kind of still, I don't know, like she still maintains that kind of Baroness quality that she has when she's in all black kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
She's
they look
iconic,
great. Yeah, absolutely. I think it is. It's kind of trying to keep that iconography at the same time, do something new with it. So yeah, I feel the pressure to try and do that as well. The artwork as well, I wanted to talk to you about, because I believe that's all Jason Edmiston. Is that correct? Or
yes.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. And the one that you revealed initially of Cobra Commander, that kind of was the teaser, so good. Again, like I think I'm blown away by the whole package that you guys kind of create. And again, with the reaction stuff, it's not just about the figure sometimes as well. The card is just as important. The file card, the backing. There's a lot of like invoking of nostalgia going on as well. And I guess that's something you guys try to aim to do as well, right?
Yeah, we're trying. Obviously, it's a parallel path to what happened, but it is very much like, what if this had come out then?
Yeah.
And this is the way it would have come out.
Yeah.
And that's really trying to be down that route, if you will.
Yeah. This one of the things I've always wanted to see in the Sunbow cartoon is Tiger Force, and we never really got it. Unfortunately, we got like commercials, and we got same with kind of Python Patrol. Although Python Patrol were in the Deke cartoon, so is there I think I've asked you this in the past, but are commercials kind of fair game in terms of what you guys would cover?
Yeah, it's all pretty fair game, and Hasbro's been really great about letting us carve our lane in this. So I really think it's just really about like what are people interested in? What do they think is cool?
Yeah.
What do you not? And from us always coming back to what do you not have?
Yeah, totally. And out of all of the ones that were revealed by you guys as well, what's your who are your standouts from that lineup?
You can never go wrong. The hard part is you can never go wrong with a bat.
True.
You can never go wrong with Snake Eyes.
True.
You can never go wrong with Baroness.
True.
So like it's nothing to a degree. You can't really go wrong with Cobra Commanders. Like you could put him in a neon green jumpsuit with an umbrella, and it would still be like, yeah, but it's Cobra Commander.
He's got the chrome face. That's all
exactly.
You need.
It works. But I think Scarlet's probably that one for me.
She looks really good in the brown and the yellow. It's like a nice color combination on her, definitely.
I like that. When you really start digging into it, you can go like, there's so many versions of Scarlet actually. Where everybody was like, oh, there's so many versions of Snake Eyes. It's like, actually, when you get into Scarlet, I think Scarlet may have more looks and more iteratives than most of the other characters.
She's had a lot of like drastic design changes as well, obviously going from the first version to Ninja Force, and then in the modern kind of the new Sculpt era, there was loads of different versions of Scarlet through Valor versus Venom and all of those. So yeah, she's definitely had some drastic changes to her, and I like the fact that this one, again, it's kind of familiar, but completely not, because she's never been in Tiger Force before. So there's a really
been in
nice...
Tiger Force, and at first I was like, oh, do we make it kind of an homage between Tiger Force and Quarrel?
Oh,
and I was like, no, we'll just do Force.
Do Quarrel later, right?
We'll come back and do Quarrel some other time. Yeah,
that's it. You've revealed
Quarrel's too cool to not do.
You've revealed that Quarrel is in the next wave of... Why not? Come on, get it out there. I definitely want to see a Quarrel big time. Honestly, any of the Palatoy Action Force kind of, we've already had Red Laser.
Yes.
And from now on, I just expect in every wave a Palatoy shout out. If I don't get that, then you'll be getting nasty emails from the Full Force Podcast at gmail.com.
All right. Well, I'll look out for your nasty emails then.
They're not very nasty. They're quite polite, actually, most of the time.
Please, why do you treat me so badly?
Why are you doing this to me? Anyway,
we're friends.
Well, that's what you told me. You told me that off camera, Brian. What the hell? Jeez, this is it. I'm done.
Not in front of the other girls, okay?
End the discussion. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, Tiger Force, Python Patrol, both available to order right now on the SUPER7.com website. Link in the description. Don't worry, I've covered it all, Brian. It's all there below us in the video. That will all happen in the future when future Chris has to edit all of this later.
Yes.
Right, now on top of reaction, we also have, and thank you for clarifying at the beginning of that there is another character, because I thought I had gone mad. Right, good. On the next phase of this interview, we are switching we're switching focus to the Ultimates. And any kind of new updates for any future stuff, and then we'll come back to other things that I know we kind of, a lot of our listeners want to hear you talk about. So
I think wave 2 is landing in people's hands as we speak. Wave 3 samples, we've gotten the first finished paint samples on wave 3, and they actually look phenomenal. And I'm not saying that to say that because somebody would be like, he's just saying that because I don't like this or I don't like that. No, I think we've well documented through previous interviews about moving around and different factory capabilities and different things like that. Wave 3 samples look great.
Fantastic. Okay.
I'm not saying that because I'm the guy. Like I'll normally tell you, like, yeah, you know, if everything takes a
Yeah.
while, it's a
Yeah.
process. You got to work through it. Like
Yeah.
he showed up and we're like, oh, like we're we're not starting from 20, we're starting from 80. This is great.
So wave 3, for a refresher, is the Trooper, Storm Shadow, Doc, and Scarlet. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Have I nailed that just by remembering something? I've never remembered something in my entire life. Usually I just have to look up stuff.
Yeah, I have to too, because I'm living in 2024 and early 2025
Exactly,
right
yeah.
now.
You're
So
going to
I'm
be
like,
giving stuff away. You're going to be giving stuff away, no problem.
But so wave two's in people's hands.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think as a whole, the figures are great. I think that there is one thing that everybody wants to talk about on these, which is the faces.
Right.
That, you know, our final samples are painted faces, and the final product that left is unpainted faces.
Right.
Skin tone.
Right.
You know, it's a very subtle thing. I think when you pick up the figure and you look at it, it looks great. I understand the desire because they want it to match exactly as Wave 1 looked, which they will. I am unsure as to why they didn't arrive correctly. This is where we get back to the ongoing conversations where we're normally pre-COVID, which you realize everybody's like, COVID's been going on for 3 years, people. But like, if I'm sitting at the factory at Packout doing QC, you catch that.
Yeah.
Not, you know, this is what we approved, like a step got missed.
Right.
In the production queue. It's frustrating. That said, and I don't want to delineate anybody's, I feel like not the blowback, because that makes it sound worse, but I think the frustration I can understand, but I still think that when you hold that figure, it's 99% correct.
Right.
And yes, it would have been nice to have the painted face over the injected plastic. It didn't ship exactly as we expected it to, but I don't think it ruins the figure. I think there's a lot of people that are like, it's ruined. Yeah. It's not worth, you know, like flipping over tables and shooting people. I don't think it's that at all, because when I pull it out of the package, aside from that, I'm like, these figures are great.
By the way,
really wonderful.
I unboxed Wave 1 finally. I know it's been so long, I apologize, and did an unboxing. Phenomenal stuff. Like, just like fell in love with them. It was like everything I wanted from a Sunbow homage. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so good. So like I have to admit, like, the quality is already, the bar is set quite high. That's your fault. You've set the bar really high, and then obviously this issue kind of appears. Now, a lot of people have asked me to ask you this question, and it was something that I was contemplating as well, because in the past, when there's been like some sort of error like this, it's almost been like a little bit widespread in the kind of fandom or whatever. I think it was the Panthro. There was a Panthro issue that you guys rectified by sending out, was it like a head and a waist piece or something? Was it Triclops? Okay, I apologize.
They glued his visor spins, and the factory glued the visor in. God. So, but they didn't glue the visor in on all pieces. It turned out to be about a 2/3, 1/3 ratio. So about a third of them spun and were fine.
Okay.
But 2/3 of them were glued in place. How? Why?
Yeah. That's more of a...
And it was literally like a dot of like glue inside, but then you'd have to like heat it up with a hairdryer, pull off the thing, take out the glue, put it back on, and it would work. But you shouldn't have to.
Right.
So we replaced that because, I mean, it straight up didn't function.
Totally.
You know, there's a play value part that didn't function.
Yeah.
We have replaced incorrectly made, when the wrong hands were included in a box set once on wrestling. We sent out replacement hands because you got the wrong part.
Right.
With this one, I know there's definitely some people who are like, are you just going to replace the heads?
Right.
I'm like, the reality is, at least for me, maybe I'm incorrectly speaking, because I know there's going to be people that disagree with me.
Sure.
Is those heads look great. You have to literally go,
Right.
oh, it's not painted.
Right.
It's not like, oh, Jesus, this is off.
Right.
And of course, like everybody, whoever gets the first one out of the factory or whatever, they always take a picture in some light, and they almost always like, I don't think it's nefarious by choice, but I do think they know it'll drive people crazy.
Right.
They make them look shittier than they are.
I've seen some horrendous initial in-hand photos of all sorts of product, and as
And
soon
then
as
the
you get
whole
it in
internet
hand,
melts down that
yeah,
they knew it was going to be crap.
you get it
And
in
then you get
hand,
it.
and it's like, oh, right, this is not really indicative of that. Yeah, it's. I know what you're saying.
Well,
I know.
like when somebody, I think it was in Singapore, got a hold of one like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we got our shipment. So
Two
then
weeks
you're
before,
already going, well, what did they get?
2 weeks before it
Did
went
they?
into the production process, probably as well.
Well, no, this was clearly what probably was reject figures that were
Yeah.
not packaged.
Yep.
The hardest part at the factory is controlling the scrap.
Totally.
So if they're making 1,000 figures, there's going to be 20 of them, 50 of them, whatever, that get pulled along the way for a QC issue.
You see it all the time.
And there's a pile of scrap.
Yeah, you see it on the secondary market all the time, don't you? It's like stuff coming
You'll see
out of...
bodies of figures without
Yeah.
heads, where
Yeah.
they're half painted and all that. It's all just their reject scrap. Controlling the leakage of the scrap is so much harder than controlling the leakage of a finished box product.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally, yeah.
And so, when somebody gets a set of figures, sometimes even in packages, that doesn't necessarily mean that the factory assembled it.
Right.
So it's like, I got a hold of some packages, I got some scrap figures, and I put them in. Because the first photo I saw where somebody forwarded it to me, like the first ones that got leaked, and it was a Lady J, and her head color was radically different than her torso color.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, this can't be, So then I go and get my sample, and I'm like, my sample is fine. I don't have production yet in from the factory, but I'm fairly certain that anybody on the QC line would have been like, those two things don't match.
Right. Right.
Because it looks more like they painted red across her neck rather than painted her face.
Right.
And I was just like, so we go looking at it going, okay, on our side, we're seeing nothing that exists there. And so
Right.
for when people got their figure, they're looking for mismatched colors.
Sure.
And instead what they got was, oh, it matches perfectly, but the face doesn't have a painted skin tone. It's plastic.
Mm.
And that's the difference. And
Right.
it's like, the colors still match. It looks great. Nothing's wrong.
Right.
We did painted faces in the first round, and painted faces didn't show up on the second round. And the
Okay.
reason that we do color injected matches for painted is so if the paint ever scratches, you can't tell.
Sure.
Because the plastic underneath is the correct same exact color.
Yeah.
It just becomes a finish issue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little bit more matte.
Is and like you said, the wave 3, that's like you said, is going to be rectified as such. It's going to have the painted.
They will be
features and stuff.
correctly painted and everything. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, okay, that's great.
The reality though is anybody listening, if they think that it's a good figure, they'll believe every word I said. And if the people listening think it's a terrible figure, they'll think every word I said is a lie.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
you can't win.
There's nothing I can do but tell you what happens and how it goes. But when when we got that, I was like, all right, as soon as figures land at the warehouse, like grab a set from production. Doesn't matter which pallet it comes off of. Like,
Sure.
Give me a random set. I open them up and I'm like, these figures look fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even tell that there's not a paint mismatch. It's just that there's a sheen mismatch.
Sure.
I
Cool.
know.
Well, that's that. I don't think you need to really talk about it anymore. I think that's as much as you can say on that one, honestly, dude. Yeah, and like I said, it was really just to kind of get it, I suppose, for our listeners and viewers, like all three of them, like I said before, to
we've gone from 12 to 3.
Yeah, we dropped a few.
Of course of the show.
Just over this recording.
I'm blaming me.
I checked my Facebook. I'm like, wow, we've lost all those people. And that how are they even listening and watching this? That's incredible, amazing stuff. The one last thing I will talk about, or ask you about, is I think you mentioned as well on a previous thing, and again, how dare you talk to anybody other than us about G.I. Joe? I mean, come on.
I'll talk to anybody about toys. Come on, Chris.
I'm kidding, by the way.
And so will you.
I mean, yeah, I cheat on you all the time with like Lenny and Emily at Hasbro. I spoke to Oliver Barrett the other day. He's an artist on the Classified series. I cheat on you all the time, Brian. I'm sorry.
No.
You know, it happens.
It's okay.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, of course, especially if it's Lenny and Emily.
Yeah, they are great. I'm actually speaking to them, I think, at the end of the month because there's a lot going on this month. I'm not sure if you're aware of Yojo June.
Oh, are we talking about, flying vehicles?
That as well as all the other stuff that's exploding at the moment. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Speaking of vehicles, nice segue, by the way.
Nice segue.
It was, wasn't it? You have been chatting about G.I. Joe vehicles, but you're saying, I think what you'd said on the last podcast was that it wasn't really on the cards. Well, when you spoke to us, it wasn't really on the cards. And then has there been more of a kind of like decision on that?
We've had an emotional breakthrough in our relationship, and we are attempting to take this relationship to the next level.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that's brilliant. Yes. So are we talking both reaction and ultimates, or are we just talking what are we talking about?
We're just talking reaction.
Oh, okay, right. So, okay, then in that case, so we're getting some reaction stuff.
We will not be making anything vehicle-wise in Ultimates, simply because that would be directly competing with what they're making over at Hasbro. So
that's cool.
There's no reason for us to play in that space because they've got that space very well covered.
Sure. That's all. That's kind of what I wanted to know. I just wanted to hear the vox pop on that one. But what you're saying about reaction though, now that's interesting.
It's interesting because not only will it fit your reaction figures, but it can also fit any vintage 3 3/4 figure you might have.
That is genius, by the way. Genius marketing. So obviously you can't discuss what those things are. Totally,
I cannot discuss what those things are.
But just to get a ballpark, are we talking large vehicles, or are we talking kind of like the more kind of mid-size kind of stuff?
I want you to be surprised.
I'm always surprised. It's my general demeanor.
Are you coming to San Diego or not?
Oh, okay. So it's there's going to be something at San Diego, is what you're saying, and
I'm just asking if you're coming to San Diego.
This is the biggest carrot ever. So we are buying a house at the end of the year, and we have to be very careful with what we do. So we're contemplating it, but we haven't made a full decision yet. So we're probably still. It's probably going to be a no based on the fact that we have to be very careful in the lead up to that, but. But in any case, coming back to SDCC, is that something that we might see at SDCC then?
I don't know.
I'm going to just say yes. Guys, make sure you're watching SDCC and everything that's coming out of SDCC, because there's going to be something crazy big in terms of news, it would appear, in the reaction sphere. And well, actually, you're going to have lots of stuff for SDCC, I imagine.
I think we've talked about this before. That
we have.
Yeah, there is a G.I. Joe event at San Diego Comic-Con. Did we talk about the name last time? I can't remember.
Did, yeah. You dropped the Cobra International. What's it called? Yeah, that's it. International
headquarters.
Yes, operations. I think you said actually.
Yeah, international operations. I think we've modified it to be international headquarters. Obviously, it's not meant to replace the main Cobra, but it'll make a bit more sense when you start to see the rollout that comes out of all of this. But
Fantastic.
there is some exciting stuff coming from the world of Cobra.
International. That's literally all I've gleaned on it, and that's all I'm listening about, because all I assume from that is that it's just going to be all Palatoy.
All Palatoy all the time.
It's just going to be a 20-pack of Glenders is what you're going to pull out, right? A 20-pack of Quarrels, sorry.
Yeah, we could have Quarrel's fine, but she's not coming to San Diego.
Oh, okay. Well, that's at least one checked off the list there, guys, that you can whittle it down to. No, that's awesome, man. I love what you guys do for SDCC.
It's going to be a really cool event. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll definitely look different than last year. So people should come and hang out, because that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
Come hang out, talk to other people that love G.I. Joe.
Cannot wait.
It's a clubhouse. We're building a clubhouse for you guys to come hang out in. Actually, for you to get recruited last year, so now you're in Cobra. So now what's going to happen to you?
Is it more of a cult then, would you say?
Oh, completely. Was that not apparent from the very beginning? How does that guy stay in charge otherwise?
It's definitely more cultish than it is a club, I would say. That's amazing. I was actually talking about SUPER7 in that sense, Brian.
I don't know. We've got a secret handshake, but I can't show you.
Oh, what? Well, obviously it's a secret, so yeah, I understand that completely. You don't want to put that on, a 12 listener, 3 viewer podcast.
Exactly.
It'd be out there pretty fast. Anyway, dude, thank you so much for jumping on again and chatting with me about this. I know your time is precious, and I do genuinely. No, well, I know it is, but I'm genuinely, I really appreciate you making the time.
Just because I had to reschedule doesn't mean my time is so precious.
Mine is. I've done 3 back-to-back live streams today. Can you believe that? And now I'm doing this, and I'm supposed to be working.
What were you live streaming?
This morning I did an unboxing of Copperhead. He's not around anymore. I must have put him away. Classified Copperhead, which was amazing. And then I did an Intel episode for our patrons. And then we had the news that the comic publisher for G.I. Joe and Transformers had been announced as Image/Skybound. So I had to do a little response, like a news burst to that. And now we're doing this. So yeah, it's been about 4 hours worth, probably a bit more, of constant recording.
So what you're saying is that the actual thing that pays you is what you're avoiding.
Yes. 100%.
I appreciate your dedication to the cause.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell them. No, they're fine. In fact, they're next door. In actual fact, they're like, one of them's walking around in the back there, and they can probably hear me. And it's started to rain now as well, as the heavens have opened above me. Brian, thank you so much for jumping on, mate. We really, really appreciate it.
Of course. Anytime we want to talk about Joe, I'm ready to talk about Joe.
I'll be emailing you again pretty soon then, probably. Have you got I should ask this, because this always seems to happen. I'll interview you, and then 12 seconds after posting the video, another reveal comes out for SUPER7 for whatever it might be. Are we far away from seeing reveals for July SDCC and all that kind of stuff? Because you do like a ramp up type thing sometimes.
We'll start ramping it up. We're a little ways away.
Okay, cool. So we're up to date. There's not going to be anything else dropped in the next couple of weeks or anything.
No.
Okay.
No, you're good for at least a few weeks.
A few weeks, yeah. Well, I'll be emailing you in a few weeks then.
Yeah, because then we'll start, teasing what's going on in San Diego.
Exactly.
We'll start seeing some video stuff.
Can't wait.
Then we got some merch.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
that makes it sound crass, but it's going to be a cool experience. There's some, I hope, some unexpected surprises for people. We're definitely, maybe the first teaser is we're going to bring back Classic, because it's people email me weekly still trying to get one. So we're going to make more of the Firefly bomber jackets, because there's so many people that are like, we made them because they run big. So we're like, we made medium larges and extra larges and a few double XLs. And then everybody and their grandmother's like, no.
70 double XLs, please.
We just stop with the mediums and larges, please. I still have like mediums and larges, not many, like a dozen.
Right.
But I get at least a request a week still for somebody looking for that jacket in an XL or a double XL or triple XL. So
they are gorgeous jackets, though. My goodness, that was a
So,
bait. That was a bait, wasn't it? As well, like
Alpha Industries.
Alpha Industries. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got an
So-
Alpha Industries jacket. They're well good.
So that's the easy thing. We made some more of them so everybody can have their chance to get a jacket.
Awesome, fantastic.
But beyond that, it's all new, all exciting, all the time.
Cannot wait. Anyway, Brian, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate you coming on. Love it. Love our chats. I really do. I genuinely enjoy this. Not like you. Obviously, you probably hate it, but that's fine. It is fair, isn't it? Thank you so much for coming on. We've, like I said, links in the description for your Tiger Force and Python Patrol figures. And of course, SDC to come. Cannot wait to see what you guys have planned for all of that, even though you told us most of what that is. Now, at the end of these episodes, you know exactly what we have to do, mate. After 3, are you ready?
No.
You're not ready. You're not going to do it this time. You're just going to ignore it. Okay, that's fine. I'll do it on my own. After 3, it's full force on 3. 1, 2, 3. Full force. He didn't do
Full
it.
force. Let's go. Come on now.
That's perfect. That actually sounds like you did the overdubbing for the episodes. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'll have to get Wild Bill to do it. Full force.
Full force. Get on your horses.
Access granted.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.
Access granted.